Resolving relationship conflicts without hurting each other. A conflict with your partner can make you feel attacked or threatened, vulnerable and weak, and this can make you recoil and retreat. When things your partner does upset you and you feel that you're under siege, you're less likely to respond constructively and more likely to resort to old standbys like the silent treatment that ultimately do more harm than good. This will eventually cause your relationship to break down completely. In today's culture of dating reality shows, smartphone apps, and romantic comedies, it's easy to forget one thing. Relationships are work. Rarely do we swipe right, fall in love, and automatically live happily ever after. And when the going gets tough, it's tempting to throw in the towel, say it wouldn't have worked out anyway, and move on, rather than doing the work to learn how to save a relationship. Welcome to Life Hack Lion, the channel that roars the secrets of life. Make sure to watch this video until the end because we don't want you to miss a thing. And if you don't know us yet, we at Life Hack Lion are specialized in creating life hack ideas, tips and tricks, content that are fun and can absolutely make your life easier. Relationship conflict affects even the happiest couples, but how do you resolve an argument when you just can't seem to agree? It can feel overwhelming and downright frustrating when you feel like your partner isn't listening to you. Many couples make the mistake of trying to talk over each other instead of talking to each other during relationship conflict. But real communication isn't about who can yell the loudest or who can take pot shots at the other. It's about resolving an issue at hand. What causes relationship conflict? How do you handle conflict in a relationship? How you handle a disagreement says a lot about how you feel about your partner. That's why we're looking at 8 respectful ways you can resolve relationship conflicts without causing a rift between you and your spouse. Number 1, be direct. Sometimes people don't just come out and plainly state what is bothering them and instead choose more indirect ways of expressing their displeasure. One partner may speak to the other in a way that is condescending and implies underlying hostility. Other times, partners may mope and pout without really addressing an issue. Partners may also simply avoid discussing a problem by quickly switching topics when the issue comes up or by being evasive. Such indirect ways of expressing anger are not constructive because they do not give the person who is the target of the behavior a clear idea of how to respond. They know their partner is irritated, but the lack of directness leaves them without guidance about what they can do to solve the problem. Number 2, talk about how you feel without blaming your partner. Statements that directly assault your partner's characteristic can be especially damaging to a relationship. If a man frustrated by his girlfriend's jealousy says, "You're totally irrational," he is inviting her to become defensive, and this can shut down further conversation. A more constructive strategy is to use I statements and pair them with behavior descriptions. I statements focus on how you feel without blaming your partner, and behavior descriptions focus on a specific behavior your partner is engaging in, rather than a character flaw. For example, this man might say, "I get irritated when you claim I'm flirting with someone during an innocent conversation." These tactics are direct but don't impugn your partner's character. However, it should be noted that these direct negative tactics can be constructive. In some situations, research has shown that for couples with relatively minor problems, blaming and rejecting one's partner during a conflict discussion was associated with lower relationship satisfaction over time and tended to make problems worse. Number 3, never say never or always. When you're addressing a problem, you should avoid making generalizations about your partner. Statements like, "You never help out around the house," or "You're always staring at your cell phone," are likely to make your partner defensive. Rather than prompting a discussion about how your partner could be more helpful or attentive, this strategy is likely to lead your partner to start generating counterexamples of all the times they were, in fact, helpful or attentive. Again, you don't want to put your partner on the defensive. Number 4, pick your battles. If you want to have a constructive discussion, you need to stick to one issue at a time. Unhappy couples are likely to drag multiple topics into one discussion, a habit renowned conflict researcher John Gottman calls kitchen sinking. This refers to the old expression, "everything but the kitchen sink," which implies that every possible thing has been included. When you want to solve personal problems, this is probably not the strategy you take with yourself. Imagine that you wanted to think about how to incorporate more physical exercise into your daily routine. Number 5, really listen to your partner. It can be frustrating to feel like your partner is not paying attention to you. When you interrupt your partner or assume that you know what they're thinking, you're not giving them a chance to express themselves. Even if you are confident that you know where your partner is coming from or know what they're going to say, you could still be wrong, or your partner will still feel like you're not listening. You can show your partner that you're paying attention by using active listening techniques. When your partner speaks, paraphrase what they say. That is, rephrase it in your own words. This can prevent misunderstandings before they start. You can also perception check by making sure that you're interpreting your partner's reactions correctly. For example, you seem irritated by that comment, am I right? These strategies both prevent misunderstandings and show your partner that you're paying attention to them and care about what they're saying. Number 6, take a different perspective. In addition to listening to your partner, you need to take their perspective and try to understand where they're coming from. Those who can take their partner's perspective are less likely to become angry during a conflict discussion. Other research has shown that taking a more objective perspective can also be helpful. In one study, researchers staged a simple marital quality intervention asking participants to write about a specific disagreement they had with their partners from the perspective of a neutral third party who wanted the best for both members of the couple. Couples that engaged in this 20-minute writing exercise 3 times a year maintained stable levels of marital satisfaction over the course of the year, while couples who didn't show decline in satisfaction. Number 7, don't get overwhelmed with negativity. It can be hard not to respond to a partner's bad behavior with worse behavior, but indulging that urge will only make the conflict worse. When couples engage in what Gottman and his colleagues call negative affect reciprocity, they trade more and more heated insults and contemptuous remarks. And as the conflict goes on, the negativity escalates. So how much is too much negativity? In his research, Gottman found that the magic number is 5-to-1 ratio. Couples that maintain a ratio of 5 positive behaviors, attempts at good-natured humor, warmth, collaboration, to each negative behavior were significantly less likely to be divorced or separated 4 years later. And lastly, number 8, know when it's time for a timeout. If you see yourself falling into negative patterns and find that either you or your partner are not following the tips above, consider taking a timeout from your argument. Even a short break for a few deep breaths can be enough to calm hot tempers. What the research on conflict shows is that both perspective taking and controlling your anger are key to managing conflicts well. Airing your grievances can be productive for your relationship, but conflicts must be skillfully managed or run the risk of making them worse. The keys to great communication are learning to listen, staying respectful, trying to see a situation from your partner's perspective, and forgiving each other. These tips will help you resolve your issues without starting a war. Don't forget to like and subscribe to Life Hack Lion and make sure to hit that notification bell icon to be the first to watch our newest videos. Thank you so much for watching, and until our next Roaring Life Hack Lion video.